A family of 3 got stranded at sea after their boat was damaged. Just when they were nearly in despair, the boat drifted to a deserted island. But there was no fresh water or food on the island. And to make matters worse, the wife and child collapsed from exhaustion. At this point, only the man was still holding on. But soon, the man also collapsed from extreme dehydration. No one knows how much time had passed. A fisherman eventually found them. He first gave the family fresh water, then said he would rescue them. But of course, he needed the man to pay him. The man didn't hesitate at all. But the fisherman wasn't happy. After hearing that, as if the man was trying to brush him off like a beggar, he said, the man was stunned. He only had 40,000 in savings. Wasn't this taking advantage of the desperate? But the fisherman was very firm. He wouldn't rescue them for a penny less. The man angrily lunged at the fisherman, but seeing the man turn to leave, to save his unconscious wife and child, he had no choice but to agree to the fisherman's outrageous demand. But then the fisherman picked up an oar. When the man woke up, he found himself tied to the boat by the fisherman. He asked where his wife and child were, but the fisherman said he'd only rescue them after getting paid. They needed to go to the bank first, then they would begin the rescue, and the location of the island was known only to the fisherman. The man was completely hopeless. He had no idea how much longer his wife and child could survive, but there was no better option. He could only reluctantly agree. Soon they arrived at a nearby town. The man called every friend and relative he knew. After a string of calls, he only borrowed a small amount, still far from the 1 million needed, and he had already asked everyone he could. So he went to the bank to check how much cash he had left. After checking everything, including his original savings, he only had $190,000 in cash. He told the fisherman this was all he had. If that wasn't enough, he would call the police right away, and the fisherman wouldn't get a single cent. The fisherman seemed frightened by his words and quickly agreed to the deal. Then the man transferred his entire balance to the fisherman. After receiving the money, the fisherman took him to his fishing boat and told him to sail alone and follow him to the island. But just as the man entered the cabin, the fisherman locked the door from the outside. The man was furious, but the fisherman said it was only to keep him from calling the police. He'd let him out once they reached the island. Then he turned and left. The man had no choice but to steer the boat behind him. They slowly made their way toward the island. But just as they reached deeper waters, the fisherman came over to the man's boat. The man thought he was letting him out, but the fisherman suddenly grabbed a spear and smashed it hard into the deck.